The list is long. It adds up to $900 million. Included in the list, the SBA approving PPP loans for scammers using photos of Barbie dolls. The DoD destroying more than $169 million worth of military equipment by leaving it outside, and the NIH paying for research to study the sleep habits of monkeys on meth. And that wasn't the only study they did on monkeys. They did one other one. Let's go ahead and pull up this list here. They studied transgender monkeys. They studied Russian cats, and $236 billion spent in improper payments. They took a look at that also. Joe?
Yeah.
Transgender monkeys, really? Is that something that, who does that benefit?
Not sure how to answer that question. $400,000 to a Florida lab to study the results of giving female hormones to male monkeys. What they wanted to determine, and I have to actually read this because I've never processed these words like this all together before. What they wanted to determine if transgender monkeys became more susceptible to HIV after the forced hormone treatments. Exactly. Who is benefiting from this besides the trans monkey community? I have no idea.
And I actually took a look at this report. Lisa, there are other peculiar things in there. $6 million to promote tourism in Egypt. Not sure why we're paying for that. $200 million to study struggling, not to study, to give to struggling artists, Post Malone, Chris Brown, and Lil Wayne. Why are we giving these struggling artists money?
I don't know, and that's a good question to ask. Look, I love this report because it's forcing a conversation about wasteful government spending, and how often do we have that conversation? But I actually think even more egregious than the transgendering of monkeys is the fact that we're $34 trillion in debt. And what Rand Paul points out in this report is we spent $659 billion last year just paying off the interest on that debt.
Yep.
We borrow a lot of that money from China. So this is making us more poor as a nation. It's making us a national security at risk, putting us dependent on an enemy nation like China. And then you look at the COVID spending alone, $5 trillion in a 2-year period through, 6 different laws, right? It's spending better we've never had in U.S. history like that before. So, this is destroying the country. And so I'm glad that he's forcing this conversation.
Yeah.
U.S. deficit effectively doubled in 2023. Think about that for a moment because of the interest that Lisa's talking about. And Democrats and Republicans, administrations alike, have been horrible on spending.
Look at inflation right now. Americans are maxed out financially. Credit card debts are $1 trillion right now. And so, the government spends this money, then we have inflation, and now people are going into debt just trying to pay for groceries.